Do not adjust your timers, friends. That clock is real. We're going back to the Tower of Zosma today.
Was once not enough?
You know, I would have thought that myself, but unfortunately, we are here to witness the third consecutive war crime, this time committed by the game designer.
Mizuti! Mizuti! It's awful! A little while ago, the Great Camero and a few others went deep into Zosma Tower. He followed them.
He too? Why did you not stop him?
I mean, yeah, what kind of friend are you?
When he heard that the Great Camero was going
We tried to tell him about the block puzzles, but
he wanted to help.
he just kept saying how bad could it possibly be? Game designers have standards these days.
Well, we're going to put off the misery for approximately 30 seconds and take a pit stop back at Mizuti's village because, we need to go get a couple quick things.
Oh, of course. Was she not here before?
No, she was not here before. The game does that a lot. After you finish areas, it spawns new NPCs that are like, oh, what do you mean you didn't get me when I was here the first time?
Yep. That is absolutely 2003 era JRPG design.
Anyway, we have, not met her adopted son, but, That line is connected to two different boxes.
That detail did not pass beneath my notice. To my considerable chagrin.
Anyway, this guy is also here. He just has a constellation for us.
Okay. Just there, okay?
That's it. That was his entire purpose. He has disappeared from the game world forever.
Video games. Well, I guess we have to go and do this now, don't we?
Now, because I am kind and merciful, I did not do any practice for this section.
Okay.
Because I know that when the first time we went through this section, you were like, well, this doesn't seem so bad. And I'm here to tell you that no. No, it absolutely is that bad. And I'm going to show you.
We here in this little internet community like nothing more than living vicariously through the video output of creators. So, I guess we're gonna live a little.
As before, do not leave this room without at least 4 flames. I promise you, you will regret it.
Well, fortunately, we're trying to have a whole bunch of spare empty magmas on account of that slightly reduced bullshit quotient in the desert. So that's something. How many do we? Okay, it is 4 spaces.
I don't know why this guy, stops us and tries to tell us about, like we know all this shit. We already did the first part of this dungeon.
Maybe he thinks that he can save us, as in, us, a lot of time and pain by dissuading us from actually trying to come down here and accomplish anything. I mean, it's futile, but...
If only it were that easy. Anyway, the enemies are universally the same as in the top of the tower. I think the dog is new, but he's not a new enemy. It's the same fire dog that I think was in the Labyrinth of Dur, so...
I was gonna say, not even, like, some palette swaps or some stat swaps or what?
Nope.
Man.
Anyway, this is the Delinquency Stone.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's a thing to call something.
That is one of the 4 special magnets that we have to bring to the museum.
I remember. Do I remember? I don't think I actually remember. I'm pretty sure I just made that up. In a vain attempt to make it look as though I was following along. You know what, I'll just go along with it. Like, you do understand at this point you could literally just lie to me about literally everything that we're doing and everything that matters, and I'd just be like, yep, that sure is what we're doing. That's definitely this video game.
So the first and immediately... well, I don't know if obvious is the right word, but the first new puzzle mechanic is that now we have to use the elevator as a stopgap.
Hell yeah, we do. We are going all in on the sliding block bullshit. It's incredible. Like, I can see all the little cogs working themselves out. I can feel the gears turning.
And just wait, here's the next level.
Oh, I can see it. I can feel it happening. Wait, what?
Oh, I'm sorry, you did that like, I don't know, half a second too early? Fuck you, do the whole thing again.
I'm not even mad. That's incredible. That's I don't have the words for what that is. But whatever it is, it's a hell of some kind of a thing. So what, you really do just have to eyeball it and get it exactly on the end of that elevator?
You have to, okay, so here's the thing. The elevator stops moving as soon as you push the block. So as long as you're lined up before that point, it is okay.
Okay. That's a very slight reprieve relative to what I was fearing.
I would also like to take this moment to remind everybody that if you do not remember this particular little point, the game does not at any point tell you what pushing these blocks will do.
Right, yeah, like these things colliding with each other.
So, for example, when we line these up, right, you will see that we could theoretically push either the left or the right block into those 2 holes. If you push the left block first, it will drop the platform that you need to push the right one.
Aha.
There is no point at which this is communicated to you in any way, other than doing it and finding out, haha, fuck you.
Yeah. That is even more incredible.
So strap in, kids. We've got 3 more floors.
And I suppose it is coded such that you have to get all of them in order to get the elevator down, and not just you have to get that specific one and the rest of them are just for the treasure.
Oh yeah, no. The elevator does not spawn and start moving until all of the blocks are placed.
I am in awe. You know, it might just be me, but I have a feeling that we've been seeing altogether too much of weird, janky RPG platforming with perspective that doesn't quite work lately. I don't know, maybe that's just the morphogenetic field fucking up again. But like, I just have this really strong feeling, you know?
So here's the next level of this particular puzzle. The next fun mechanic that it's going to introduce is this multi-stage elevator. If you leave this screen without completely solving the puzzle, you lose that flame. That flame is gone, and everything resets.
Yeah, what? Hang on, what? Why?
I believe you referred to this as a perfectly well-oiled spike machine at some point?
Right, that sounds like something I would have said about this. I mean, like, how does that even mechanically work out, though?
Oh, well, like I said, because you need a flame for every floor. But if you leave, for example, were you to get trapped on that block trying to cross over and it started going up,
Oh, I see.
you reset this, you lose your flame, and then you have to come down and use another.
Great. I see, because it's the same... Right. I just somehow didn't appreciate that the same elevator that was taking you between these levels could also take you off the top of the screen. That's... I don't understand how this is able to keep getting better. But... it keeps getting better. And did I mention my eyes hurting? Like, this is at least 3 MC Esches out of 5.
The next floor is even worse. Like,
I believe it.
I legitimately don't even know how to tell you to start solving the next floor. Like, I literally just kind of fucked around with it until it worked.
There's a school of action game puzzle design where there's like a billion things that you can do at the beginning, and it's not completely obvious what you're actually supposed to do, and yet once you find the one thing that you are supposed to do, it reveals like exactly one other thing, and you can just keep following that thread along. And that kind of a puzzle design feels great when you pull it off, but it is some fire to be playing with. Like, you get that kind of thing wrong, and the results are painful. This is also just kind of painful, but for a slightly different reason. Also, right, are you not limited to climbing up exactly the middle of any given block?
That is correct. You may only climb up the center of any given block.
So you cannot send this bullshit staircase around a corner, for example?
No. I cannot.
You gotta push it in and then push it back, and you gotta get that, yeah. Yeah.
See, not quite. You see, we have a different plan in mind for this block.
Right, you can go around.
The staircase is not that you can go up. It is that you can come down.
Mm-hmm. Very good. And don't think that tiny individual pixel of light visible through that little division escaped my notice, by the way. It's just you can't see it because we're not doing face cam, but I am absolutely doing the chef kiss gesture at that little detail. It's just there's a beauty to it, you know? Alright, fuck me up. I've been looking at this for like a minute. And I have nothing.
I mean, there's a lot of negative possibility space. Like, obviously you can't put the block on the floor into that hole by the lamp, because you can't push it that way. So it's like, okay, well, obviously we need to climb up, so we're gonna use it as a staircase.
There's like a million billion things to do. And I guess the whole thing with you're never allowed to know what binning any single one of them will actually accomplish is definitely not helping.
Oh yeah, no, this is the floor where that really gets bad.
There's a context in which trial and error kind of stuff kind of works, but that's 100% a matter of having a real fast turnaround mechanic. To the point where you don't have to waste, like, entire minutes burning a retry. That kind of stuff can burn a lot of games that aren't really expecting to be burned. But you know what's a surprisingly good puzzle game? Is Abduction. That's Obduction with an O, by Cyan Worlds, a developer of Myst and its many, many sequels. They made a real nifty thing that runs in Unreal and has you jumping around between a load of worlds, and they've got this whole deal where every time you shift worlds, you take like a sphere of the surrounding environment with you, and it swaps places into the world that you swap into, and you can put stuff in that sphere and it goes between the worlds, and puzzles are based out of that. Real great mind-bending stuff. And there's one world in Abduction that basically just has a maze where there's like 9 or 10 little nodes that you can shift between that world and another world, and in the other world you can manipulate them and you can like spin them around and stuff. So you're shifting between worlds, taking essentially little bits of bridges with you and manipulating them in the other world and bringing them back, and it puts together a mix, and it's real great. Here's the problem. On PS4, Abduction is slow as shit to load. Which means that every time you want to make a minor, like, atomic interaction with this extremely complicated puzzle, that's another minute before you can even see what the hell you're doing. It's not even a problem with the game design, really. It's just an incredible story of how a game gets completely burned by this turnaround mechanic when they didn't even fall into a trap. It's incredible. Abduction is really good, by the way. Other than that little blip, I highly recommend it. Even on PS4, it's just a real good puzzle game. I like good puzzle games, okay? By the way, this is not a good puzzle game, just...
Yeah, so, can you tell what the height relativity is up there between those between those couple layers?
Can I fuck? Like, it doesn't help that it's not on camera right now, but like...
Because that was what burned me on this puzzle for a long time, was trying to figure out exactly what and how the top part of this puzzle connects.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, like, what is that gap there? Is that a straight one-tile gap there? Or is that up one? Is that down one?
Based on the very panicked look that I had at it, it looks like it's up one and over one at the same time, but it's lined up in a perspective in such a way as to make it look like it might actually not be. Like, there's that, and you kind of have to do a lot of counting, like, follow one thing that you actually know the height of, and just trace the walls along with it, and do a whole lot of very abstract spatial reasoning processing. And figure out, like, yeah, that's an overhang. There's like a whole little passage there that's like 1 cube wide. Like, this game's got real good 2D pre-rendered backgrounds, but this was a poor choice of application for that art style. It turns out that entirely 2D art styles can make judging the 3D height of things real difficult. Like seriously, this is weird. Why is this bugging me so much? Why am I getting such a strange sense of deja vu about this topic?
I would like to just briefly add to that you may have noticed that I dropped that block, but we didn't get the block that rose up that time. I don't know why that's the case. I don't know if that's tied to a different... I don't know if the effect is tied to a different block rather than a different hole or what, but...
Is it ordered? Did you do one thing in a different order to before?
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how this puzzle works.
Gonna have to go back and check the footage. But like, it's something. Like, I have many suspicions, all of them highly uncharitable, about the designers who make stuff like this. But one thing that I know is that they don't do random, so... Like, they might have done glitch. Glitches happen. Games are janky. But as far as I know, you never get people who are spiteful enough to make stuff like this falling back on randomness. It's just not in their nature.
Right, see there, that one made the block rise.
Yeah, I don't know. I got nothing.
And this is also the point where you can see that I'm just like, you know what? This is fucked anyway. I'm gonna go get my goodie.
Yeah. See, it's doing the completionism thing again, except it's not... It doesn't even tell you that what's in there is a constellation and that this is all in aid of completing a collection. Which, if anything, just makes it crueler, honestly. You might have picked up, by the way, that I'm a big fan, and when I say fan, I mean the other thing, of games that have a lot of components that they like to mark as optional, except the things that are in the optional thing is always something that plays into a really big completionism book. That's something that you either want, or just by virtue of your particular combination of brain spiders, feel innately compelled to try and get. And it's extremely video games, and I hate it. And I feel like the constellations in this game is kind of tending towards that kind of thing, where even in 2003, where they didn't have trophies, it's the kind of thing where instead of having the trophy in the forefront of your mind the whole time and you feel like pressured about it, you skip it because it appears to actually be optional, and then you learn what it actually was and what you've missed out on, and then you just get angry.
Oh yeah, no, there's a lot of really good shit hidden behind constellations. Like, once we start getting to the end of the set, you will start getting, among other things, the level 9 finishers for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can imagine.
Anyway, this is around the point where I finally realize what I'm supposed to do for that second block, but first I have to figure out exactly what the fuck I was even trying to do with this block up here.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't have a clue. What?
It's okay, neither did I.
Sure. Good times. Whatever. Yeah, there's some things where looking at this in retrospect, I can kind of see that there's this block, and there's this block that can only go into that hole, and here's the one hole that doesn't only have one block that can go into it, so I guess that's what we're dealing with here. But yeah, for the record, I think I also kind of see it. I have this vague sensation that pushing that particular block upward, I'm going to go with, it's not like upward and to the right of the camera, is actually a trap, and that actually you're supposed to push it the other way.
Yes, yeah, that is the case. You have to push that block to the left because it's the only block that can actually reach the hole near the lamp.
Yep. See, these things do kind of, sort of, almost, there may be a tiny bit, have a logic to them. They're even a logic that's not bullshit. It's just this kind of process of elimination of what things can even go in what holes only have one block that can go into them. It's like a Sudoku. I've never actually done them, but I'm gonna hazard a guess that it's also kind of like Picross.
It can be. There's similar aspects of, well, okay, this has to go here, it's the only thing that can.
Like, I'm gonna be a tiny bit controversial and say that this room right here is almost great puzzle design. Almost. It just has that tiny little razor blade sticking up out of that gum of, you know, the whole rest of this deal. But like,
if this room had a quick reset, it probably would have been significantly better.
I can definitely picture that.
And also, you know, if it didn't take 5 years for Callus to climb every single block.
So,
well, you see, we took too long. Our flames went out.
I'm sorry, they what?
But yeah, we were carrying around flames in our Quest Magnus, and we took too long. They went out.
I see. I see. Well, that these video games. Yes. Well, wow. I have nothing. Although actually, I'm getting that feeling again about surprisingly engaging JRPG puzzle dungeons that are like big and involved and have puzzles in them that make your brain go and are vaguely satisfying to take your time on and solve, and then having an implicit real-time constraint on them that's like weird and counterproductive to the overall vibe of the thing. And like, this idea, it currently exists fully formed in my head as a complaint that I've made. And I can just recite it about this game. Why is that? What's going on? Am I actually losing my mind?
I don't know what to tell you. I can't think of anything that would even be remotely similar to this.
Man. But what a game design, right? I guess at the very least we can go back down the whole way. And these things aren't just all reset.
That is the only solace that I think this game will offer you, is that the puzzles, once they are solved, and once they are solved is doing a lot of work in that sentence.
Once you've fully solved it and got the whole thing. Incidentally, does time tick in battles for the cards?
No. Or no. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. In menus, it does not. In battle, it does.
I was thinking that I also had, you know, the 100% speed run in the back of my mind while thinking about this, and well, all told, I guess that could be a bit worse. Like, I am honestly a little bit surprised that they didn't go full spite on that. I don't know what I preferred as an outcome to this. Anyway, this looks maddening.
I actually like this puzzle. Like, this is one that I got almost immediately. Like, I think this one is actually really clever.
Yeah. I mean, no, maybe I'm missing, but I can see it, and as a solution, I like it. It's like, at least I think I can anyway. It's nice. It's got that lateral quality to it, where like it seems like there's an obvious thing that you can do, and well, obviously you do that, and then that's completely wrong, and you just kind of have to. There's a name for this. I think it's actually a computer science name for this kind of a phenomenon in a puzzle solution where you have to start by doing something that seems insane and counterproductive, but turns out actually to be the linchpin of the most efficient solution.
It's not that. It's not that. As usual, that's the first move of, all right, well, fuck it. I'm just gonna push something and see what it does.
Yeah. That's not it.
But as soon as you do that, though, everything clicks.
Yeah, it's like, wait a minute. But what if I shelled my own Met and did 1 damage and a slight bit of knockback to the 4 things around it, thus causing the Vect to attack themselves? Wait, what were we talking about again? Well, in any case, this all seems like it could be clever. Don't think I don't appreciate that tiny little diagonal bridge that they put in there. Don't think I haven't noticed that.
It's such a weird thing because for so many other parts of this dungeon, like, there's nothing like that.
They kind of designed themselves into a corner for having a thing of this exact size, with the exact paths and the exact dimensions that they want to have. Like, it's just barely wrong. I don't think they can get it to work. So they've had to do this other thing. Like, I think they were kind of forced into having to have that little bridge there. It's like, so close. Oh well. But yeah, I mean, like, there is a sense in which some of these are like actual good puzzles, and like most of the stuff that's wrong with them is not so much with the puzzles themselves as just like the whole surrounding framing of the game engine that's not really able to facilitate the kind of puzzles on the kind of level that they're designing around.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely fair. Like, this in any other context would be fine. It would be a perfectly acceptable, maybe even a good puzzle dungeon. But Baten Kaitos, both as a game, as an engine, cannot do the thing that it wants to do.
And don't think I didn't notice that weird perfect diamond bridge just sinking into the floor and vanishing. Because I absolutely noticed that, and I'm very mad. Art designers couldn't have just... Wait a minute. Please tell me.
No, everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Okay, no, but you can understand my concern, right?
Yes. And not only can I understand it, I got to live that one because that happened to me on the second floor. The first, when I started the second floor before I reached the point where I'm like, I am not doing this twice, and I just turned the game off and started recording. And that happened to me. I got halfway done and got sucked up the elevator and then came back down and was like, oh.
Video games. Anyway, this looks normal.
Why do you disturb my slumber?
The world is in dire straits due to the resurrection of Malpercio. We come to ask you for the Ring of Stars, which you have wielded in times past.
Wow, this sounds like a pretty bad situation. How did this come about?
And do you deserve to receive the Ring of Stars?
Oh.
Now, see, you're asking the wrong question, Fiddle. We're talking about an ancient wizard, so it's less, and how did this happen, and more, and why should I help you?
I mean, I feel like there's a non-zero amount of commonality between these two concerns.
Stars will not be wielded by the likes of you.
Stop it! The great Mizuti won't allow this to happen!
Mizuti, so you have come.
And who might you be?
Mizuti, the great Mizuti, just wait there. You'll be all right, Pete?
Yeah, it's nothing.
Why not wait for the great Mizuti? The great Mizuti would never let Pete down.
Because you're out doing your best, fighting so hard for us. I wanted to do something for you.
I mean, we're not fighting that hard. We don't even have a plan. We have no idea what the hell we're doing. This is like the first solid lead that we would have had.
No, that's not the way it should be. When we would go out together, you'd always call yourself the Great Mizuti and take the lead, so the monsters would ignore us and attack you. But you no longer need to be the Great Mizuti for us. We'll fight with you.
I'm gonna throw this out there, Key.
Maybe
I think
won't
right
be that
now,
much
she
use
absolutely needs to be the Great Mizuti for
to
you.
our best.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
of us should work together,
I was thinking
one of us.
literally the same thing,
not just
down to the phrasing and the
like
intonation.
hero. Just be Mizuti, just the way you are, okay?
I swear to God, if they try and do another text box back here,
Okay. He should get a little rest.
Be careful, Mizuti.
ancient wizards are just, what the fuck are you people doing? You invoke me for this?
The great Mizuti, what is
Fuck.
So, how do you feel? Do you remember when we got the ocean mirror?
Yeah, there was some bullshit that went down, as I recall. So, like, level with me. Is this even slightly different?
Not at all. Completely identical to the fight with the Snow Queen.
Down to the whole having to accidentally get the camera in order to get the picture.
Yes.
Incredible. Someone came up with this and put it in the game and made a fucking spreadsheet or something, I don't know, to convince the bosses to let them put it in the game. And then not only did they put it in the game, they put it in the game twice.
I mean, look, when you've made all that time and effort to get this system working, are you gonna stop using it after just once?
Now, when you say effort here,
Take it. Take the Ring of Stars. You should be able to make good use of it. I wish you good luck, dear descendant.
while you're at it, how are you at blackjack? Do you think you can win 3 games by hitting 3 times?
Wow, Mizuti! You're as great as always!
No. It be thanks to P, the great camera, friendly everyone.
Now, if you really want to put some effort into a real silly thing, a great thing they could have put effort into, see there it goes, I was just about to say, it's not entirely outside the realm of possibility for them to tie a global variable to whether or not you've done this and then decide that from now on we're just gonna have Mizuti in the text box from here on out. They could have done that if they only had the vision. But I know too much about how these kinds of games are scripted, so I know that they probably just said, no, we have to just manually write it in every text box per scene and we can't do it programmatically. Even if they'll let you name the player character. It's all just variables. You can change the variables if only you have the vision. It's computers, you can make the computer do whatever you want. Just believe in the heart of the memory. Anyway, that sure was fucking something, wasn't it?
It was a pretty incredible experience, I gotta say.
I'm not really sure what it was, but whatever it was a lot of that thing. Like, really just going all in on something.
Anyway, before we leave today, we have, we got a little something from this constellation.
Yeah, right? What?
It's a Xenosaga reference.
I mean, I guessed.
Yeah, that's Cosmos.
I absolutely guessed. Just because I don't, actually recognize things doesn't mean that I can't put 2 and 2 together. But for a second there, I had some ideas, and they were all games that released long after this one, and I was like, eh.
But hey, we are free. We now never have to come back to the Earth again.
I can't wait to find out how the one remaining side quest is even worse.
I have some bad news for you. There are 2 remaining side quests.